Oh my goodness, guys. Hello plant pals and welcome to another video. My name is Kenna and I'm so excited to have you here with me today. Today I am probably going to be doing some plant chores. It has been a very rough week, very stressful, just a lot going on between work and school and just everything else. So I need a plant care day. And yeah. But between work and school and just life, it's been a very stressful week. So I don't know about you guys, but when I am stressed, I kind of turn to plant care as self-care. So I am going to be doing some plant care today, and I will also probably throw in some other clips from throughout the week of some plant mail unboxings that I have done. This week I have gotten a few boxes in because I did go stress shopping. So I've been kind of pulling in a few boxes this week and I'm pretty excited about those as well and wanted to share them with you guys. So I am going to go ahead and I guess probably water some of my plants now. And I will kind of talk you through the process as I'm doing it. But if you like this kind of video, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what kind of plant chores you've been doing this week as your self-care. And I will go ahead and get started. All right, so we are here at my counter. This is where I end up doing a lot of my plant chores. It is a large space and it's just very convenient to work on. So it's easy for me to pull all of my plants out, bring them up here and do whatever needs to be done. So I am gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna be using a Myco water today. So I'm gonna see if I can show you guys this. This is the Trifecta Myco Supreme. Yeah, Trifecta Myco Supreme, but Myco is a really great addition to your plants, kind of plant chores or plant watering. Myco does create a little bit of a microbiome. There we go, a microbiome inside of your plant's soil, and it does actually help your plants to be a little bit more drought tolerant, helps the soil to retain a little bit more water. And in general, it's just really great for your plants and can help them be a little bit more resilient. So this is a ½ gallon here and I am using, there we go. Sorry, I can't talk and concentrate at the same time. But I'm using a tablespoon. It is 2 tablespoons for a gallon, so ½ gallon gets 1 tablespoon. And I am gonna go ahead and mix this up. And the reason that I decided that I wanted to use Myco today rather than fertilizer is because of this plant specifically, which you guys might recognize from one of my last plant chore videos. Typically you shouldn't use Myco and fertilizer in the same watering. There are lots of different schools of thought on this. The way that I look at it is I don't want to risk wasting my Myco and I would rather just alternate. So I use Myco and then I'll use fertilizer water. And the Myco helps kind of to absorb the fertilizer water a little bit better, make the nutrients more available for your plants. So the reason specifically though that I decided was because of this fuzzy petiole. The roots are looking a little bit squishy in some places and I know that can happen. And I think I do maybe see some new root growth, but it's kind of hard to tell. So what I've seen done, I think mostly by like Unplant Parenthood or You Don't Even Grow Here, what they tend to do when they transplant a plant into pond is actually water them in with a Myco inoculant, and that actually will help make sure that the plant still has the ability to grow, take up food and water, but also if there is any root rot, it can help, I guess, prevent it from spreading to the rest of the plant, is the understanding that I got. So I am just watering in with a little bit of that Myco solution. And I did try to spread it around, that way it gets the entire base of the plant. And it looks like that's pretty good. The water level is about up to here now, and that's about where I've been keeping it. So I am gonna go ahead and call that one good. And then I'm gonna move on to my Hoyas. So I water my Hoyas, my small potted Hoyas, about once a week. It can vary just kind of depending on the week, on the day. But the ones that I have on my shelf, my grow light shelf over here, I tend to water about once a week. And that's just because, you know, their pots or cups, as it were, are a little bit smaller. They tend to dry out a little bit faster. And even though Hoya are drought tolerant, I haven't seen any problems doing this with my Hoya. And the leaves are getting a little bit more flexible, which is usually a good indicator that they're ready for a water. And because I haven't inoculated any of these with a myco water yet, I am gonna go ahead and do that today. That way my newly potted up ones and my older ones can all get the benefits of myco. I've heard really great things about its ability to kind of induce growth in a plant and just help plants, like I said, be a lot more resilient in their environment. So I'm just gonna water in. I do like to do this kind of cup watering method. I think I've talked about it before, but essentially I water in over top of a cup or a bowl. That way it can kind of sit in the water for a moment, and I just feel like it allows the soil to actually absorb more water rather than just running straight through like sometimes a hydrophobic soil might. And because I have a lot of plants potted in terracotta, I just don't really want to risk not being, you know, thorough in my watering. So I just kind of do this, and it gives me a little bit more peace of mind. I will note though, and this has also been pointed out by previous viewers of videos where I've done this, if you have a plant pest, I really wouldn't recommend watering this way. Lots of plant pests, for example, like mealybugs, can actually live in the soil, and you do not want to risk spreading plant pests throughout your entire collection accidentally by doing this method. So I would say just be careful, be mindful of what plants you're watering this way. These I know actually are all pest free. Other than using systemic, I actually also have like little sachets of predator mites, which I think I posted a short about. I'll see if I can link it up here for you guys. But I feel fairly confident that I'm not going to be spreading any pests today by doing this. So I am just going to keep going. The one that I've just watered is actually my Hoya fungii. If you guys saw my video where I repotted my fuzzy petiole into pon, the Hoya fungii had not grown for me, had not shown even a new growth point. And all the time that I've had it, the Hoya fungii hadn't even shown an inkling that it was getting ready to grow. So, you know, I've just kind of been patient, waiting. I was a little concerned something was wrong, but, you know, I'm gonna wait it out. And it actually started putting out growth, and in fact, its new growth is so pretty, so green. I actually love the leaves, and there is a little bit of splash too, which I wasn't expecting. But I'm very happy about it. It's really, really cute, and I really am enjoying it. And I think, honestly, that it's the reason that my plants are now putting out growth is because they're, you know, in a good soil mix, they're getting watered regularly, and they do have, you know, that fertilizer available to them in their soil, so they have those nutrients available to actually take up the nutrients and turn them into energy to grow. So that just kind of shows, to me anyways, the importance of a good like fertilizing routine and making sure that, you know, you don't let your plants sit in the same soil for, you know, months on end with no new nutrients available, because that's not really going to be doing anyone any favors. And if you do want to have plants that grow really well for you, I just don't think that's probably the best way to go about it. And this guy, this is my Hoya Crimson Queen. As you can see here, she is putting out lots of new growth for me. The shelf she's on is actually a bookshelf, and she keeps on growing in between my books, which is not exactly the most convenient, I will say, but I still really enjoy her, and I probably am going to keep her on that shelf for a little bit longer. I do plan to actually grow this Hoya as a trailing Hoya. I know some Hoyas don't like to be grown in a downward pattern. In fact, often when you trellis Hoyas, you'll hear people telling you make sure that it ends, with the tail end of the tendril up, because otherwise it might stop growing on that vine. And I actually think I did screw that up on this particular Hoya here. I, wrapped it around and I thought that, I ended with it up. Yeah, I do see maybe some new growth there, but I haven't seen any new growth on this tendril since then, which I think was my bad. And I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I didn't realize that was such a big deal. But this is a really, really fast grower. This is my Hoya pubic calyx, and I feel like it's gonna probably recoup pretty fast. In fact, there's already like a couple of new tendrils coming out, and I'm fairly confident that it'll be okay. I just didn't know that when I did it, and I kind of am disappointed now, but as you can see, she's still very happy, very healthy, and probably gonna be putting out some more new tendrils now that those ones are probably gonna be cut off from the plant. All right, let's see, I think you were next. And I do tend to make quite a mess when I do this. I am not the kind of person who is neat and orderly when I'm doing things. If I'm doing a chore, it's probably gonna be done in a really, really messy way, and I know that can drive people crazy. It drives me crazy, honestly. I really dislike the mess that I end up with, but my process is just messy. And I don't know what to tell you on that one, but I do try to clean up after this. That way it's not quite so, dirt covered and water covered on my counter here. This little guy, this is my Hoya numeroroides. Yeah, okay. And it hasn't put out any new growth for me. I think it's the only cutting that I have now that hasn't put out any new growth. And I'm not exactly sure why. I feel like it's not planted. Actually, no. Okay, I have two that haven't put out new growth, but this one I feel like was doing pretty well. I don't really like the depth that it's planted at though. I'm kind of tempted. I probably should just add more soil. I don't really want to uproot it. So I'll probably add more soil in a little bit. Sorry about the dogs in the background. They are being especially woofy today. Don't know what's going on with them. And next up here we have my Hoya Mathilde. I really, really enjoy this plant. I hadn't really heard of it until I received it, honestly. And then I feel like I started seeing it everywhere. And I think it might be one of those things where, oh, I never heard that word. And then you start hearing that word everywhere kind of thing. It just makes you more aware of them. And in this case, I don't know why I didn't see this one before. It's such a cute little Hoya. I love the little circular shaped leaves. They have a little bit of splash on them. And they're just really, really cute, kind of overall. So I really enjoy this one. Let me see here. I was saying how confident I was that there's no plant pests, and I just found a mealybug. But it is a single mealybug, so I'm not sure. Okay, hold on, there's another one. All right, I need to get alcohol to get rid of these things. Okay, so this is obviously what happens when you get a little too confident, because I just found a couple of mealybugs on this little guy here. And I don't have any idea where the heck these little buggers came from. I really, mealybugs aren't the worst plant pests in the world. They're, really annoying, but they're at least kind of slow moving and easily seen on a plant. But I also have no idea where the heck they come from. They don't fly, they crawl, they're really slow moving. How do they get to a single plant on a shelf away from every other plant? I will never understand that. And it absolutely drives me bonkers whenever I find one. But I think those are the only two that I saw. I'm just giving this one a close once over, making sure that I don't see any others. And I don't think this one was touching any others, except for maybe this guy. Let me just give this one a quick look over as well. Okay, yeah, there's no mealies on this one. Thankfully it's a small plant, so it's really easy to kind of see, make sure that there's no mealies on there. I am just brushing some of the soil off the leaves, but okay. Well, that's what I get for saying there's no pests on these plants, because of course I would find a pest. Moving on though, again, I'm not super worried about mealies. I just really hate them. They're so annoying, and they just, oh, my goodness, they are kind of hard to get rid of. And thankfully they never do too much damage to my plants, which I suppose I should probably knock on wood now saying that, but they're, like I said, fairly easy to get rid of, fairly easily spotted, and I don't get too fussed about them. I just think they're the most annoying of all the plant pests. Like spider mites cause very visible leaf damage. I hate them. Thrips, obviously we know how I feel about thrips. I really hate those little buggers, and I don't know why they exist. But mealybugs, they're just annoying. They're like a mosquito buzzing in your ear. That's the version of plant pests that they are to me. And I'm just taking another quick look here to make sure that none of the plants that I'm watering have mealies. I'm trying to make these plants shareable, and they do not want to. This is my little Hoya sunrise. Yeah, sunrise. I always want to call it sunset, and it's definitely not a sunset, but for some reason sunset always comes out of my mouth a little bit easier. But this is my Hoya sunrise. It's really cute. I think, so Hoya sunrise are actually known for their sun stressing. So their sun stressing can be really quite pretty, and I have a couple of leaves that are pretty well sun stressed. However, I don't think the light that I have them under is strong enough to get that same level. Okay. All right, you guys are almost for sure not gonna be able to see this, so I'll try to pop in a picture for you. But this little Hoya Nuna finally has some new growth on it, which I am very excited about. Okay. This one doesn't want to share either. You, okay. Pop it in there. I don't even think this is on the same shelf as the mealies, but this one would probably be the easiest one to miss. I don't see any. Okay. Anyways, but the Hoya Sunrise has a really, really beautiful sun stress pattern, and I don't think that I have it under enough light to really get the full benefit of that sun stressing, which is fine. I'll probably, you know, once it gets a little bit bigger, maybe move it to a brighter area, or maybe as it gets larger, the leaves will be closer to the light and it'll actually be able to sun stress then. But for right now, I am getting some really cute little leaves off of it, and actually there is a little bit of splash. And I'm sure you guys can now see why I need so much space when I water like this. I have my plants spread out all across the countertop, and again, I'm making probably a ginormous mess, but that's fine. I'll take care of it later. I might get a little bit of sass for it though. My boyfriend always tells me that I make this counter a mess, and he got me the little repotting mat to try to fix that, and I don't use it when I'm watering. I only use it when I'm repotting, because to me, watering isn't as big of a mess maker thing, but it does get water everywhere. And this is my Hoya retusa. If you guys can see here, this tendril. This plant hasn't done a whole lot for me since I got it, but it did finally put out this tendril recently. And this is another one that's getting stuck between all of the books on my bookshelf, which isn't ideal, but I'll just kind of deal with it, I guess, until I have a little bit bigger plants, and then I'll probably move them elsewhere. I thought I saw some new growth on the other side of this cutting. Man, my brain is fried today. I'm trying to talk to you guys and I keep on stumbling over my words. So if I sound a little off, like I said, it's been a long week, but this cutting is just a single cutting. It does have multiple nodes, but I didn't separate them when I got it, just because I wasn't super well versed in rooting Hoya, and it didn't really fuss me either way. I just wanted it to root. So I thought I saw some growth coming from the other side of that cutting, but maybe not. And again, this is my little Hoya Sunrise. Super cute little Hoya, and actually, yep, okay. But this is just a super cute little Hoya, and I do actually see some sun stressing on it. So maybe I wasn't quite right in saying that those lights aren't bright enough to sun stress it. It might just be that it takes it a little bit more time to get that deep red color. That was Chris. I have an Apple Watch, so when he calls, it kind of rings over there and I can just answer it from my watch. And he always calls and checks when he's on his way home to see if I need anything. So that means that I'm probably gonna stop filming in a little bit, but I just want to get these last little few Hoya watered, and then I'll put them back. And actually, I think my package for today just got here as well, so that's really exciting. And I'll see maybe if I can convince him to have his headset on so I can unbox them. He usually plays video games on his lunch, and either they're loud or he's loud, and I don't want you guys to have to listen to that in the background. Regular water. And then this is really my last Hoya that I have on that shelf. This is my Hoya Australis. Obviously it's the green form, not the Lisa. But I really like the leaves. They're just really big and round and shiny. And I love the feeling of them. Like, they just feel like really thick and glossy, and I really like them. And actually this one doesn't have a drainage hole, so I can just water it right in. And there we go. That's about all the Hoyas that I have on that shelf that need to be watered. I am gonna go ahead and put them back, but I really enjoy caring for my plants, and I find, like I said, a lot of the times that plant care is self-care for me, and I just kind of get a little bit of a soul soothing out of it, I think. So caring for my plants does kind of help me de-stress, and hopefully that'll be enough to get me through the next couple of days, because I have still a lot going on and a lot that needs to be done. But I will go ahead and probably put in the next clip here. I might be able to get to that unboxing today, but we'll see. All right, so I think I probably would have mentioned in the intro, but in case I didn't, this week's video is probably gonna be just a combination of some of the plant mail unboxing from some of the packages that I've gotten this week. And I do have a couple of pretty cool ones in front of me. One is a wish list plant, and the other is this. So I did rip my address off of this package already, which is why it looks like this. But I had already previously ordered some Ladybugs for the greenhouse. And then because the spider mite issue now in the greenhouse exists, I don't think I mentioned that to you guys yet, there are spider mites in the greenhouse. So I did go ahead and order a second round of Ladybugs. The first ones did arrive already deceased, which was kind of sad, but these look to be super happy. If you guys can see them crawling around in there. I really like using Ladybugs. I think that they are a really great kind of natural method to pretty sure that was my robot vacuum. Anyways, but they're a really great method of controlling pests with ladybugs. They're a predator insect and they will go after plant pests such as thrips, spider mites, mealybugs. Really anything that's smaller than them is fair game. So I did get some more ladybugs. They seem to be in great shape, which I'm happy about. And I'll probably be releasing those in a little bit. Maybe I'll show you guys kind of the process of me releasing them. And sorry, I have a Luna on my lap, so I gotta give her the scritches. But the next package is actually a plant, and I did get it in, I believe, last night. I had ordered this one kind of earlier this week. When I have, I don't know, stress or anxiety or just like a lot going on and I'm starting to feel overwhelmed, I might be an online shopper at times. So I did turn to Etsy for some plants to see kind of what they had, and I found this beautiful, okay, not a plant pest, I was worried. I found this beautiful plant available, and I try to purchase from Florida in the colder months, just, you know, as a precaution. I don't really want my plants to get any cold damage or anything going through the mail. So I try to order from Florida when I can, and this one is from Florida, and it was one of my wish list plants, which if you guys didn't see my wish list plant video, I'll put it up here for you. But it was one of my wish list plants, and I was like, listen, I'm stressed. I need something to look forward to this week. So I did go ahead and order this guy, and they packaged it super well. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's in like one of those like packing boxes that you guys, when you move, is kind of what I would associate this with. I don't know if that's where they got it from or not, but I don't know how. I don't want to damage leaves. So that's my concern. Right, there's a little bit of moisture in here, which, ooh, that was loud, isn't always a good thing. You don't really want moisture sitting on your leaves when they're shipping, but we'll see in a second. Ooh, there's a leaf in that one. Ah, heck. Okay. All right, and then let's see how I can get this one out of here. There we go. Okay. So this is an Alocasia micholitziana. And if you guys, you know, are familiar with the fry deck, the Alocasia micholitziana is the green version of the fry deck. And I did go ahead and pick it up kind of as a precursor to the fry deck. I want to make sure that I can keep this one alive before I invest in anything really expensive like a fry deck would be. And honestly, I just think the Alocasia micholitziana is gorgeous. I'll pop in a photo here because this isn't a mature plant, but it is so pretty. The green and white contrast is just like breathtaking, honestly. So I am in no way upset to have just the green version. In fact, I'm actually quite excited about it. So the leaves look to be pretty good. There's a little bit of white, but I don't think that's a mealybug thing. I think it's probably like a soil thing. And it looks to be in super good condition, which is very happy and exciting. Oh, okay, this one's a little bit waterlogged. They may have shipped it a little too damp because it is a little wet. If you can see here, when you see this kind of thing, this is edema on a leaf, and usually it is a sign of overwatering and just kind of water sitting on the leaves. This one has it too. And I don't know if those leaves are going to survive. I hope that they do. Sometimes they will kind of brown off on you and turn mushy, which if it does, I mean, it's fine. It is not the worst thing in the entire world, and the plant overall looks to be pretty healthy. You can see here it has some really pretty healthy leaves, and actually it has some new leaves coming in. Don't know if you guys can see those. They're pretty hidden in there, but it does have some new leaves coming in. So I'm not particularly worried if it does decide to drop those leaves, which, like I said, it's a little bit damp. So they might, yeah, they're definitely a little bit wet, but it happens. I've had some plants come in that way before. I'm actually gonna pop this guy probably in the greenhouse with the ladybugs. That way, if there is any pests, they'll be controlled, and maybe the environment in the greenhouse will kind of help those leaves and help the substrate dry out a little bit faster. So actually, I guess I will take you guys along with me and show you the greenhouse and show you releasing the ladybugs in there. All right, so here we are in the greenhouse. I do have the door cracked a little bit because it does get pretty toasty in here. Actually, according to my thermometer, it is 107 in here currently, so pretty warm. But I think it'll be all right. I am probably gonna open up one of the vents and it'll cool down in here a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and release the ladybugs. So I did put the Michelitiana down here, and this side of the greenhouse gets a little bit less light than this side. So this side I mostly have my succulents and cacti on, and then this side I keep more of my houseplants, indoor plants, things that I'm just kind of have out here for growth and things of that nature. So the ladybugs, there we go. I am actually going, this is kind of a idea that I had. I'm gonna try to see if I can actually keep the ladybugs alive and breeding in here. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't work. So ladybugs, and I did a little bit of research, like to eat like fruits, like raisins and dried dates, things like that. And I actually put some tomatoes in here as well. My tomato plants are doing really, really well. And they are growing like crazy, putting out all sorts of tomatoes, but sometimes the tomatoes get a little waterlogged, I think, and it makes it a little difficult to harvest them all on time. And if they get waterlogged, then they kind of get mushy, and obviously I am not probably gonna eat those. So I did put some of those in here for the ladybugs specifically. I'm gonna see if maybe they enjoy them. Maybe it'll help them, you know, breed in here, stay happy in here. Ladybugs do, like I said, eat the pest insects, as they are a predatory insect. However, once those insects are gone, they're gonna need an alternate means of food. You guys can see the ladybugs. They're going everywhere. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's enough ladybugs. I'm not really a bug person. Insects kind of creep me out a little bit, and I'm gonna just let them do their thing. And I'm gonna probably close up this greenhouse, that way they don't get out, and I will see you guys in the next clip. So I did not get the chance to unbox this yesterday. It's been a really busy week, and I did realize that I had to head out a little bit sooner than I thought. So I am gonna unbox it today. I still don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to at least get these plants out of the box. Hush. But I wanted to at least get these plants out of the box. That way they're not sitting in here, and to give you guys a look at them while I'm at it. So let's go ahead and get this box all opened up. Chris is getting a delivery right now, my boyfriend, and the corgi is outside letting everyone know about it. He makes a great watchdog. We never miss much with him around. Okay. All right, so this did come with a hanger. I was looking for hanging plants to go in this window. So I did get a couple of jungle cacti. I think I actually mentioned in my last video, I was planning on getting a, like a rickrack cactus, and that one's coming as well, but these are a couple different other jungle cacti. Okay. And they seem to be wrapped up pretty well, which I am very happy about. Oh my goodness. Oh man, this is so pretty. So I don't have any Rhaphidophora, or not Rhaphidophora. Oh man, what's the name of these things? Are they labeled? Maybe that'll help my brain. Rhipsalis, there we go. I knew it was an R. Took me a second. I don't have any Rhipsalis in my collection currently. Ripsalis are a jungle cacti. Where is it? Oh. Which, even though they are a cacti, pretty much need the same watering requirements as other aroids. So I would say like Hoya, maybe some philodendron. They're a little bit succulent, but not nearly as much as like a normal cacti might be. So I am trying to contain the mess. There is a little bit of fallout from soil. There we go. Okay. And I can't explain the way that this feels. It feels kind of like maybe like cooked noodles, like cooked spaghetti. I guess it's kind of like the best approximation I can think of. It's a very interesting feeling, I will say that. There's no spikes or anything. It looks like maybe there might be like those little hairs kind of at the top, but I don't really feel them when I'm stroking it. So I don't think that they're the pokey kind of cacti. Oh my goodness, this plant is so full. And there was a couple little breakage pieces, so there is a couple pieces that have fallen off, and I'll probably see if I can prop those. This should, seems like anyways, it seems like it'd be pretty easy to propagate, so I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. But that is number 1. Oh my goodness. I'm in love with this plant. This is the Ripsalis mistletoe. There is a name for it, and I will try to put it on the screen for you guys, but it's most commonly known as the mistletoe cactus, or the mistletoe Ripsalis. And it is just so pretty. I really, really like this. Like I said, this is going to be a hanging plant for me. I do want it to hang kind of in the window up there to take up some of that space. And it's not too terribly heavy, but it does feel like it's rooted pretty well in here, honestly, which I'm a little bit surprised by. I'm actually really pleased by the quality of the plant from this nursery. So I'm gonna open up the second one, and hopefully this one is just as good. This one I think is a little bit smaller, if I remember right. And this is another Ripsalis variety. I think I was watching, I think it's You Don't Even Grow Here. I think it was You Don't Even Grow Here who made a video recently about uncommon plants, and I was already wanting a Ripsalis before, but I watched that video, and since I was in an impulse buying mood, I went ahead and just took a dive right into the deep end of Ripsalis on Etsy, and I found both of these cuties. Okay. So yeah, this one's a little bit smaller, which, like I said, I expected, so I'm not upset or anything about that. Ooh, there's a couple little breakage points on this one too. I hope that's kind of is easily propagated, because that would be really cool to just kind of fill out the plane a little bit with the broken pieces. Ooh. Trying to figure out the best way to get this paper off of there. The shop did do a pretty good job of wrapping. I will say, you know, it is almost impossible to get soil to stay in the pot while shipping. It is just one of the hazards, I think, of shipping or like purchasing a plant that isn't local to you, that you're gonna get soil everywhere while unwrapping. Okay. There we go. Okay, actually, and this might sound like a weird thing to point out, but I like the quality of the soil from this place. When I'm feeling it, it just feels really nice. And they are still a little damp, which is good. They weren't shipped soaking wet, which is usually my preference. I do not prefer it. But this is the Ripsalis paradoxica, and I am super excited to have this one. So the Ripsalis paradoxica is the one that kind of has almost like alternating chains, I want to say, is kind of the best way that I can think of it. And it is just really, really cool. And I'm really excited to have it. So this is also going to be a hanging plant for me. And I'm going to have it, again, up in this south-facing window. I think it'll be pretty happy there. But yeah, like I said, I did decide to kind of purchase these on an impulse, but I'm really, really excited to have them nonetheless. I've been looking at them for a while, and like I said, I wanted something to kind of pop up in the south-facing window, add a little bit of just kind of greenery around it. So I think these will make a perfect addition. And I am kind of planning on possibly getting some more plant shelving soon, maybe putting in some grow lights. We'll see. But yeah, so I think that's probably all for this unboxing. I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys settled, and I'll move y'all into the next clip. All right, guys, so I think I'm gonna be able to fit one more unboxing into this week's video. And I did get this package earlier today. Now, I'm not actually sure which of my recent plant orders is in this box. So I think I said this before, but I'll say it again. It is so hard as a seller to, I think, keep soil from going anywhere in boxes. Like, I've seen so many plants wrapped so many ways, and it just, the soil gets everywhere. It's kind of hard to, I think, prevent that from happening. But this one is kind of all over the place. Actually, the whole bottom of the box is pretty much filled up with soil. Got a little piece of cacti there. Okay. Oh, okay, yep, lots of soil all over the place. Let's just do that. Okay. So this plant's a little bit coming out of this pot. I'm probably gonna have to add some soil just to top it off. And it looks like there's actually a couple of different cacti varieties in here, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if maybe like they had their cuttings close together and you know they just kind of fall together, but that's kind of the assumption I'm operating on right now, I guess. So yeah, this should be a fishbone cactus. So it does look like it's a fairly kind of juvenile form of the fishbone cactus. As they get larger, they do kind of tend to segment out and get that, you know, rick-rack or kind of zigzag pattern to their growth. You can see a few here that look pretty zigzaggy, but for the most part, most of these seem to be quite narrow, not really as, you know, pronounced in their zigzag as like a more mature form might be. But this is a close-up view. So I just really liked this one. I thought it was really unique, and I'll show you this like little guy in there, that little like green stick. I'm not sure what that one is. I'm gonna probably let it grow though, because I'm kind of curious just to see what happens. But I'll try to pop in maybe a mature photo of a rickback cactus for you, or a fishbone cactus. That way you can kind of get a good view of it. And I am just kind of patting it down with the soil because, like I said, it's going everywhere. And even though I do tend to make a mess, I try to prevent that where possible. I think it's going to be kind of hard to tell what all is in here until this grows out. I mean, there was this little piece that was broken off in the box, and I don't know, that doesn't look very like zigzaggy to me or rick-racky to me, so I'm not really sure exactly what this one is, but I'll, you know, pop it back in soil and see if I can root it and get it to grow out. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of the unboxings that I'm doing this week. Maybe it'll bring you some joy. It brought me some joy for sure, and is helping me to kind of decompress and de-stress a little bit. So this is kind of my self-care type week, I guess I could say, and sometimes plant mail is a part of that. So that's about it. Go ahead and leave me a thumbs up if you like this kind of video. I'd love to hear from you down below. If there's any plants that you've been purchasing lately as a form of your self-care, let me know what they were. I'd love to hear from you. And there is also a subscribe button there. I do post weekly, and I'd love to have you around more often. But yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks so much. Bye.